Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Qudrat is a startup that makes a range of agro-based and biodegradable products with low carbon emission. They aim to reduce plastic and paper waste for a sustainable tomorrow. Let's know all about it from its co-founder Rishabh.
In an era where environmental sustainability is becoming increasingly critical, the concepts of recycling and the circular economy offer compelling solutions to the pressing challenges of resource depletion, waste management, and climate change. These practices are not only beneficial for the environment, but also provide significant economic and social advantages. Today, we are going to meet a chainmaker who has started his journey to promote a sustainable lifestyle by reducing plastic and paper waste to create a versatile alternative suitable for any occasion. Let's meet the co-founder of disposable tableware brand, Qudrat. Welcome to the show, Rishabh.
Thank you for having me, sir.
And
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, same here. We are glad to have you today on our show here. So, Rishabh, why do you think recycling is important, and how does it help to create a circular economy?
So, when you look at nature as such, the resources that we have on this planet are, of course, limited and they are not unlimited. And hence, we must use these resources judiciously. And at the same time, there is also the fact that we have to keep the environmental cost in mind. So when whatever we take out from nature, it must be responsibly used and it must be adequately used. Hence, the law of recycling comes in. Whatever we're taking from the earth, we convert it into a product that can go back into the planet itself.
Okay, so we would like to know how and when did you first start thinking about this business? Like there was a trigger or something happened that pushed you towards this area.
So I mean, it's an interesting story because I come from a background of automobile, and when I was doing my CA in my second year itself, I dropped out, and then I got the opportunity in 2016 to look after our automobile business. So when I was doing that, I mean, it was quite a traditional business as such, and when you're doing a traditional business, and of course that's a family business that you're doing. Hence, there was always this question in me that I want to carve my own identity and I want to do it in a separate field. Now, when we started identifying what are the opportunities available in the market, we saw that waste was a big problem. And wherever you see a problem, I think an opportunity is very likely to be there too. Hence, we took this challenge of working in the waste sector. We didn't always have I would say the journey was started from solid waste. It went into wet waste for some time. It went into electronic waste after some time. And then finally, we narrowed down upon agricultural waste. And how did this also happen was that during COVID, I happened to be visiting a friend of mine and they have a sugar industry. Hence, he's 25 years elder to me, a mentor to me. And when I was doing that, he was talking about how they used to buy sugarcane bagasse back in the day from a supplier, but that supplier has stopped supplying that commodity to them now because he's making disposable tableware out of it. So I think we picked the idea from there. We doubled down on it. We tried finding what could be a more competitive product that we can build on all the drawbacks of what the existing product that has to offer. And that is how we really started with the company. This is 2020, November we incorporated.
Okay, so then you thought, okay, this is the area you should be working on. So tell us about the early days of Qudrat, because starting a new business is always a challenge. There are like many areas which you need to deal with, and it's not so easy, navigating the new business. So what? Tell us about the early days. How did this all unfold, and how did all this come about?
So I think the earlier days are probably the hardest days, but I think these are the days that you really smile back upon. I mean, I would still say we have hard days right now too, and we are still early. But when we had started, I mean, right from so our raw material has to be agricultural based. So identifying the kind of raw material that you can get at a suitable cost that has, let's say, a good amount of supply. You will not face constraints in terms of supply of that product. So identifying that part was very important, and then implementing it into your technology, and how much time it will take to sort of shortlist from rice husk, rice straw, water hyacinth, banana stem, or banana leaves, and what of it. First, mapping out the supply chain side. Secondly, also the fact that whether it will work in your technology or not. So I think that took a lot of time for us, and we finally narrowed down on rice husk and rice straw, our first unit. And yes, I think that was one of the biggest challenges that we had to overcome. There were a lot of smaller things that also happened during this, trying to find what exactly would be the supply chain, whether you have to interact with the farmer directly or whether it is a mill-based process that you'll have to go in for, going out in the field and finding out how exactly we can procure this in bulk, working out the transportation side. So I think that was probably the beginning of the challenges. And once we even got the raw material to our place, the problem then came about quality. So once you start going into manufacturing, things like rejection, the kind of quality of raw material that you're receiving, how much of gravel is there in that material, how much of moisture is there in that material, that had a significant amount of correlation with what we were producing. So I think this was probably one of the first and the biggest challenges. Secondly, our technology partner happened to be a government institute. So when you're working with a government institute, I mean, the way that they work, whereas the way that we work, I mean, it's a different equation altogether. So getting that and getting a whole team of scientists to work together with you and converting it successfully from let's say a research based technology to something that can give you production on a commercial scale, pilot scale to begin with. I think that is a grueling task in itself, and keeping all the stakeholders involved and listening to everyone, but then taking decisions. At times, a lot of scientific analysis leads to paralysis in the project. So those kind of things were coming up, and I think navigating through those times was probably one of the most challenging bits. But I think we got to learn a lot from that, and I think that experience really is very valuable to us today.
Okay, so the raw materials that you're using are not very traditional ones, and it's basically a waste of some other products. So, can you take us through the entire process, like what all the raw materials that are you using, and what all are you making out of them, and the process behind it? How does it, get turned into a product? All these raw materials.
So essentially, we work with five kinds of agri waste: rice husk, rice straw. These are both byproducts of when you cultivate paddy. We also work with coconut leaves, fallen coconut leaves that we convert into straws. And then there is also sugarcane bagasse. So sugarcane bagasse is what is left after the sugarcane juice has been extracted out of the cane. And these go through various processes of for example, rice husk and rice straw, it goes through a process of grinding, milling, heating, and then finally mixing, and which finally goes into compression molding. So there's a series of steps that's involved before it gets converted into the product. But yes, if I would take the case of rice husk and rice straw, one of our premium ranges, so the journey starts right from um, the farmer who's supplying the paddy to the rice mill. And at the rice mill level, they are able to separate this husk out of the rice grain. So this is the husk that we purchase from them, which is otherwise used as a fuel by industries to burn in their boilers. And we are able to convert this coming into our factory and the 4 or 5 processes that follow. mixing, grinding, heating, and again, mixing with various kinds of materials, and then finally going into compression molding to get a finished product.
So let's go back to the research part of your project. Like, what made you choose these particular ingredients? I mean, something like there were some properties which were suitable for conversion into this tableware, or what made you choose these materials? What was behind this choice?
So essentially, when we started with the project at the lab scale level, there were various raw materials that we had to choose from. Now, for example, we had rice husk, rice straw, water hyacinth, banana stem, and banana leaves, pineapple leaves also. But our initial inhibition was that we wanted to work with water hyacinth. But when you practically went into the field, trying to understand how are you going to extract this material, how are you going to collect it, what is the cost that is going to come about in the collection, how much is it going to cost to take to your factory, and is the conversion how optimum is the conversion, and is it financially viable for a unit. So with that being said, I mean, there were 5 or 6 raw materials that we evaluated, and then we finally narrowed down on rice husk and rice straw. Rice straw, of course, is expensive in Kerala, but rice husk we were able to finally narrow down on and get all of these boxes ticked. The supply chain side, the production side, whether you're able to get a optimum product with it, and can you make financial sense out of it. So I think these are the factors that we really considered.
Okay, so tell us, what all products are you making right now, and which one of them are edible also? I believe some products of yours are also edible. So can you just enlist the products that you're making right now out of these materials?
So we, starting right from the bottom, from sugarcane bagasse, we make all fine kinds of tableware. When I say tableware, we mean to say plates, bowls, takeaway containers, clamshells, and various kind of compartment plates. Then sugarcane bagasse again is divided into 2 parts. There's a white color and there's a natural color. So these are basically part of cost-effective range of arts, which is the entry range for anybody who wants to go into sustainability. The next product that we have in our premium range, so there we have rice husk and rice straw, which we make plates and cups out of currently. And this range is, since it is made essentially from agri waste without any form of adhesives, laminate, and lining, it is also something that the animals can consume both on land and in water. So it can be used as fish feed, it can be used as cattle feed, post its use by us. And beyond that, we've also developed an edible range, which is again rice flour and wheat flour. That is something that can be eaten by human beings also. We only do cutlery in it, specifically spoons, and that is something that you can also have post your meal.
So for any new product category, customers' adaptability is always an issue. So making people adapt to this new kind of tableware, I mean, how did you address that challenge?
I think we are still addressing it while we speak, and I think over there, so the biggest factor is that it's a time-taking process for anybody to move from one trend to another. So, for example, if we take electric cars, so I think 2018 probably 2% of global sales in electric cars, whereas if you look at 2023, I think it stands at 18%. So now, similarly for the sustainable disposable tableware industry, our figure also stands close to around 2% as on date, but it is going to grow. Now, how are you going to get people to adapt to this? Number one, legislation plays a very important role. So if, for example, there are certain items in India that have been banned, and once there are more alternatives available to it, and the government has played a crucial role over there, people have, whether it's businesses, whether it's individual people, the only products available in the market now would be a paper-based product, or it will be an agri-waste based product which we make. So legislation, I think, would be the most important pillar there. And of course, after legislation also comes enforceability of that legislation. So are the rules being followed properly? Is there no supply of plastic-based products for single-use and disposable tableware? Post that, there is also the fact that the first time that you are able to get a customer to adapt your product, I think once that happens, there is no going back for the customer. Once they've experienced this product of yours, it is very difficult for them to in terms of habitual change, that they would want to go back to a plastic based product. And I mean, experience oriented, of course, I mean, the entry level range, and then we have a premium range. With that being said, the customer profile is such that once somebody also experiences the premium range, then it is so distinctive in itself that they would want to continue with that. And for example, a use case would be an event where there is so much of money. I mean, the wedding industry in India, there's so much of money that's spent on decoration. There's so much of money that's spent on catering, and if this application comes into the budget of these weddings, where whatever you have to use has to be sustainable, it is a very small part of your budget if you look at it that way. So I think more and more people are adopting it. It's just about the first time adoption, and once that happens, it sort of becomes a trend. And of course, the government support is probably something that can help all of us tremendously.
Yeah, of course, the policy will play a crucial role when it comes to environment-friendly materials or in anything which is concerned with environment. And I'm sure you will get a lot of help from the policies which are coming up from the government side, and all the best for that. So now my next question is about your startup. How did this got funded, or did you get any kind of a financial support from, say, there was an angel investor or anything, any other platform? So how did this startup come about?
So, in terms of funding, so essentially we are bootstrapped, and being bootstrapped means you are funded by a banker by nature, which could be in the form of family or friends, and we remained like that. But other than that, from the government side and the grant side, so in terms of, we are part of the Kerala Startup Mission, and from there itself we have received close to around 10 lakh rupees in grants. Other than that, we have received the Startup India Seed Fund, which is a soft loan given by the government to us. That is close to around 20 lakhs. Then the central government from the agricultural ministry has also given us close to 25 lakh rupees. So we are close to around 60 lakh rupees in grants and funds given to us by the government, and this is going to continue. Like I mean, this year also we see another big chunk coming into this whole process. We also participate actively in various kinds of competitions where you can get grants for what kind of startup you're building. And we got a 2 lakh rupee grant from Ernst & Young for this, to pilot with them in their organization. So similar basis, I think there are a lot of opportunities available now for anybody to secure funding in this form also, where you're not getting an investor on board, but you're getting a grant by the government or by some private organization.
So that's very good news coming from your side, that funding part has not been a major problem. You have been getting some kind of a support from various corners. So that's very heartening to hear. So now tell us about your market presence. Where all can we see your products? Where all we can go and buy your products from?
So essentially, when you talk about market presence, so we divide ourselves into various channels. So on the direct to customer front, we are available, of course, in India. We've also started doing work in the US, Canada, Mexico, and United Kingdom. We do all of this through Amazon India and Amazon Global. So Amazon Global is another platform where you can stock your products in the warehouses over there and then sell your products in those respective countries. On the business to business front, in India, we have close to around 45 clients now, and these are monthly, or some of them are bigger clients who have a pan India presence, close to around 150 to 200 units across the country. Some of them are smaller ones, 1 or 2 units somewhere, maybe a cafe somewhere. But this comes from all across the country. We have clients in Goa, we have clients in Himachal Pradesh, we have clients now we are talking to them in the Andamans also. So the B2B market for us is quite spread out in India, and we are trying to grow this tremendously. We are trying to work with bigger aggregators, trying to get onboarded with them also, so that we can become part of their supply chain. The conversations are on. And beyond this, for the foreign markets also, we are trying to find partners who can buy our product in bulk and who are already part of the distribution system there. And they can help us, propagate our product on a bigger level in those respective countries. Once we see that scope has grown so much, once we see that we are doing well in those places, tomorrow we would want to take our warehousing there and then maybe distribute in those markets also by ourselves.
So that's wonderful. So going forward, what are your projections? Like, what are the targets that you've set for yourself?
So 23-24 was our first year in sales. We did close to around 72 lakhs in revenue for 23-24. This year we are looking anything between 300 to 500 lakhs, and we have an aim that by 2028, so 27-28 will be our fifth year in operations. We have an ambitious goal of hitting a target where we are able to establish ourselves as a 100 crore rupee turnover based company, and I think that is totally achievable. The market is big enough. It is just about getting ourselves well penetrated, especially in the international market. The kind of conversations we are having, the kind of demand that we see coming in, of course there are a lot of challenges that are there in this, and we know that China is the workshop of the world, and their products are also very good in terms of quality, I would say. But I feel that if you're able to grab even a small share from these places, there is a big business that you can build out of this.
Of course, and I'm sure you'll be able to. And the kind of zeal and commitment you guys have, I'm sure you'll be able to achieve your target, which are very healthy ones. And I would, like to congratulate you on achieving the numbers that you have till now. And your future projections are definitely achievable. And I'm sure you'll get there. So, Rishabh, to end this conversation, please tell us, like, what impact do you think your organization, your startup, your products are going to have on the society at large?
So I'll give you an example for this. So I'm in Trivandrum, and we have a beach here. So when I had recently moved to the city, I was trying to find things to do around here. So I joined the local surfing club, and Kovalam Surf Club, as it happens to be, we go surfing almost every Sunday, whenever the weather permits. Of course, it's raining right now. But when you go out into the sea, do you realize the problem actually? So when we are surfing, we are hit by plastic bottles, we are hit by cement bags, we are hit by all kinds of plastic litter, and we are still bigger in size. As human beings, you can pick up that bottle and you can throw it away. You can pick up that paper cup and you can put it away. You can remove that cement bag. But imagine the marine life that is there down below. Probably, I mean, the turtle that gets the straw in its nostril, or the fish that gets trapped inside an old fishing net, or the fish that are feeding on the plastic down below. It's fatal for all of them, and they have nothing that they can really do about it. So this is just one case. Other than this, I mean, I also enjoy scuba diving, and I am a certified scuba diver. So when you go down onto the ocean floor in today's time, I mean, not that I know much about marine life and fish, but it's easier for you to identify the plastic down below than you can identify the fish. I mean, actually, you would know every wrapper that is there. I mean, what does it represent? And the brand. From far away, you won't know what fish is that, but you know that is the same orange color wrapper that is sold in your supermarket for that specific company. So the waste is actually a big problem. It's just that it has to come into our eyes. And now, when we are able to build a business where you are able to replace this with a degradable product, you are able to help these animals, prevent these animals from dying. You're able to remove this disposable product in the form of single-use plastic from the landfills, and at the same time earn money for doing the same. So I feel that is the bigger impact that we are looking at. But when we also talk about the company as such, of course, single-use plastic replacement, but we are also helping give that agricultural waste which is burnt a second life, which if burnt accelerates global warming, it causes air pollution, it causes various kinds of respiratory diseases. So we are able to also convert that. So with this solution, we are able to solve a number of environmental problems, and that of course gives us a lot of satisfaction.
That's wonderful, Rishabh. I mean, I wish we'll have more and more environmental warriors like you to make our earth better, our life better. So, thank you so much for joining us today, and we are very glad to hear the kind of work that you're doing. And we wish you all the best in your endeavor, and we hope that you'll make a big difference, as you just said, to our society, to our world at large. So, thank you so much, and keep doing the good work.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to share our story. Look forward to talking soon.
Thank you so much for joining, Rishabh. The concepts of recycling and circular economy can form a comprehensive strategy for addressing some of the most pressing environmental, economic, and social challenges of our time. By conserving resources, reducing pollution, creating jobs, and fostering innovation, these practices offer a path towards a more sustainable and resilient future. Embracing recycling and the principles of the circular economy is not just an option, but a necessity for ensuring the well being of our planet and future generations. I hope the efforts of innovators like Rishabh will help people embrace this culture. Goodbye.